It's about to go down.
What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Flip Masters and the Wifey back with another episode of F&D Texas Destination America, and that was Dubes that you actually saw just running away.
She's camera shy.
That's right. Guys, this episode today is actually going to be about kind of what's been going on. It's been 2 months since we've moved into the van.
I love it. I'm having a blast. Can you see my face?
She's having a blast.
I'm smiling.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of talk about like the things that we do like and the things that we don't like. So we're going to kind of go back and forth. Now, it's basically two different perspectives. My perspective, I'm kind of the nerd. Okay, I'm like the technological geek who likes the computers and the cameras and the games and stuff like that. And the wifey,
I enjoy nature and trying to eat healthy and sometimes being lazy, not doing nothing.
kick back, relax, things like that. So you're going to basically get two different perspectives on what it's like to live in a van. Van life is not all just, rainbows and unicorns and stuff like that. You go take pictures and you go walk into the wood.
Go ahead.
Well, maybe for the wifey it is, but for me as a technological geek, I've got to have power and electricity.
You're always wanting to film every part of our lives.
Well, that's part of our lives, right? Filming right now. Part of the technology is the computer, internet access, things like that. So my wifey and I...
Microwave. We don't have a microwave, okay?
We don't have a microwave.
On days I don't want to cook, and y'all know I'm a good cook. On the days I don't feel like cooking, he wants to get things like this, that, okay, eat it out of can. No, it's got to be heated up. We don't have a microwave.
So...
He's got to have a microwave.
I got to have a microwave. Okay, so computers, technology, internet, things like that. So hotspot is kind of a big deal. Wherever you have phone access, you can actually get hotspot. Now the wifey actually has a phone. I don't need a phone. We only need one phone. It's just us in the van. So she uses the phone, turns on her hotspot, and provides internet access for me to upload my videos to you, or play on Facebook, YouTube, etc., etc.
Water. We don't always have water for showers, things like that. Luckily, we're getting by with some help from some friends right now. But we do have our little shower tent and our little shower bag and things like that. I drink a lot of water.
She drinks a whole lot of water.
He drinks no water.
I don't like water. Water's bad for you.
Go on.
Anyway, I prefer something that's a little bit more kick to it, like something like this water. But besides that, water is definitely a must, and you have to keep up and have good sources for it. So getting good water is different than getting bad water. For example, if you have a filtration system on your sink, like we have a sink that has a pump and everything involved, which you probably saw in one of our reveal episodes, this does not have a filter. So we have to be careful of what type of water that we put inside of it. Some waters have a lot of caliche buildup in the water. You can actually see the white come off of it if you let it sit long enough. I know you know what I'm talking about.
There's a drought going on here too, so it's not easy to access water. Like if, we can't even fish right now, barely. It's just hard to get water sometimes.
Yeah, so remember, water is a big deal. Buy bottled water and distilled water if you can, and get your bottles filled up at one of those little stations, and that should help a lot. Plus, it'll be cheaper that way.
God. Let's talk about headroom. I'm short. It's not that bad.
I'm short too.
Well, I'm shorter than you.
That's true.
It's not that bad, but it does get uncomfortable and very irritating. Bumping your head on certain things, and
Yeah, and you wouldn't think that, but you can actually bump your head on the stupidest things. And you know, you wouldn't even think about it. This little device right here, which is actually the clip that closes the door. How many times have you hit your head on
shut
that?
up.
So if you could get yourself a van that has a high top or a pop-up ceiling, more power to you. You know,
Grab it.
get it. It's a big deal. Everyone that knows I have had back surgeries and stuff, back problems, and my wife has a few back problems. Being hunched over in a van is sometimes tolerable, sort of.
You also get sore knee.
Oh yeah, each one of our knees, both of our knees actually have tears on them because of the floor. Now wood floors is definitely a must because of sand, dirt, things like that. It's a lot easier to clean out. But you got to have some type of padding. We use this little thick pad that we use for a kitchen, and oh, it's a knee saver. So remember, headroom, big deal. If you can get it, if you can't, knee pads or something you can put on the floor to protect your knees. Because oh my God, the knees will kill you. Your back will kill you, and your back will thank you for it if you got a high top. But usually that's a nighttime issue. Other times we're out of the van, we're out running around. But when you're stuck in the van, it can get a little crazy sometimes. So go into the bathroom while your spouse is or your significant other, your partner is actually in the van at night. Usually at nighttime. In the daytime, usually we have places we could go, things like that. But at nighttime, it's it's rather awkward.
We don't have a running toilet in here, so we actually use the bucket.
I don't know if you can see this.
No, it's fine. They don't need to see
There
it.
you go. Anyway, so it's almost like a composting toilet. It has sawdust stuff down inside of it that keeps the smell and everything down. And when we don't have sawdust or access to sawdust, we put a little TST in it, you know, something that keeps the smell and everything down. And we just kind of go for broke, you know. There's awkward moments. For example, I mean, she's watching TV in the back. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I sit down on the toilet, and I look over at the wifey, and I smile, and I'm just like, hey, what you doing?
It's so gross. We're trying to fix the issue to where we will have our own privacy curtain around the person, whatever.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But also budget, you know. We have to have food, so we can't afford to build the walls that we need for a bathroom yet.
That's right.
Okay, next subject.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of wrap this up with electricity.
Wait a minute. You forgot the most important thing.
What?
What about when you and your significant other or your partner start arguing? Or disagreeing, let's just say. There's nowhere to go! I mean, you can walk off, yeah, but if you start disagreeing in the middle of the night, there's bears, there's elk, there's all kind of creepy crawlies out there, too. You know, there's, you can go sit in the front seat. You know, I pull the curtain, sit in the front seat, and just don't talk to her for a while.
Yeah, there's no satisfaction in really running across the van. I'm mad at you! 3, 2, 1 step, and then you're sitting down. 3 steps away, there's really nowhere to go.
You just have to...
You're going to have to figure it out.
You have to suck it up and just say, oh, well, I'm sorry, I love you.
I love you. And that's the truth, because partners, spouses, you're going to fight, you're going to argue, and in tight quarters, things start getting stressed out, like it starts raining outside and you're stuck for 3 days in the van, you're going to get
You can't open windows for air, you know, yeah, there's a little monotony, you know, you got to have things to do, you know, read a book. Personally, I'm making some jewelry, you know, or, you know, looking on my phone for new recipes.
Yeah, just keep your electronics charged up and everything should be fine. It'll give you something to do when there's times you can't get out. And if you can get out and hike, that's the best thing you can do. Get out, hike, go geocaching, go fishing, go, if it's hunting season and you're a hunter, go hunting. Just camping. Yes, 100% fishing.
Which also brings us back to electricity.
Yeah, it brings us back to electricity. Electrical is
Pretty important.
pretty important.
You don't want to sit around in the dark. We also have a generator that we recently got our hands on, so.
Yeah, and the generator, oh, what a blessing.
Yeah.
That right there will allow me to charge up the battery bank using a charger, which is just like a 15 amp regular charger. That makes a big difference. Just make sure the power that you're using with the amps that you're pushing out, you have all the adequate enough equipment to push it. Do your research, do your homework on it before you get set up, and make sure you do it safely as possible and put it together right. Lead acid batteries are always outside of the vehicle. AGM and lithium can go inside because they don't, when they're charging up, they don't, release gases into the van that could kill you. So be careful with that. Brings me to another point.
You're the one that's talking about the gases in the van.
That's a good one right there.
Oh, God. Between him and the dog? Oh, my God.
Beans. I'm just going to talk about beans.
They're the musical fruit.
The musical fruit. Beans, asparagus, anything that can create odors in the body.
Or escaping the body.
Escaping the body, like asparagus, if you go to the restroom, you know how that goes. You've all seen Austin Powers. Gas is going to happen. It's part of life.
Deal with it.
This is a metal box.
Open a window.
Make sure the windows are open.
Open the back door.
Run out of the van, scream, fart, put a fan on you, whatever you got to do. That's just kind of part of it. So, but you might gas out your significant other. That's something to think about in the small area.
Let's talk temperature.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, at night especially. During the day, I mean, there's certain ways to cool off. We all know this, you know. But at night, when you're laying there in your sleep, it's not easy to cool off. Flip says that I run very high temperature when I'm asleep at night.
She's an oven.
I get cold, I'm covered up, you know, or it's a little chilly. And
I'm totally uncovered. I'm no sheets, no nothing. I'm just like, oh. But she gets hot.
It's hard to cool down sometimes at night, so think about that, you know, or to warm up even. You know, we had a couple of really cool nights here in the high 30s, you know, and low 40s, and boy, it was chilly.
It does get a little chilly, and I mean, it's up and down. You know, different people are having different situations, like they're overheated. A roof vent fan, like a Max Air fan or a Fantastic fan, that is a must almost. You have to have some way to move air through the vehicle.
You can open windows, but that comes to the next subject: bugs.
Oh, bugs.
Yeah, flies. As dry as it is here, being in the drought, you have quite a few flies, gnats, you know, things looking for water. So if you're running water or if you got something to drink open, you know, I mean, you got to really watch out for the bugs.
Yeah, bugs is a pain. I mean, like me, technological geek, remember? Camping girl, she deals with the bugs on, hey, I'm camping, it's all good. I deal with the bugs with like swinging arms, psycho, freaking out. I'm getting out of this van. I want my freaking sandwich without bugs.
I like a lot of food, but I don't like bugs, okay?
Bugs suck. Bugs is a big one.
The other subject that I have, being a cook, is cooking. I don't know if y'all have seen, I started a little, you know, campfire cooking with the wifey. Well, I started it at the wrong time because I'm in a state that is currently under a drought, as I said.
So we cannot use campfires at all.
No campfires, no charcoal.
That's something to think about. If you're in a location where you are experiencing a drought, like California, any desert location, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, places like that, Arizona, if you're having a drought situation, this little propane stove has become a lifesaver. Those little propane stoves you can get for your individual burners for inside of the van. If you're going to use the van, just make sure you got a window open or, you know, ventilation and stuff. But
which brings us back to the drought, which is water restrictions also. There's water restrictions over a lot of these towns and so forth.
Yeah, so you're out in the woods or you're boondocking somewhere, make sure you got your water situation figured out first. So, but your cooking on the camp stove has been a blessing because the wifey can actually cook. I burn water.
I know I said the most important thing earlier was about fussing with your significant other or your partner, but to me, the most important thing about this whole van life is no matter where you park or where you go, clean up after yourself. Don't leave a mess. Don't leave trash.
Leave it better than you found it.
Don't dump your food, in the forest area, your leftover food, stuff like that. Think about what you're doing. And yes, like you said, leave it better than when you got there. It's ours. We got to take care of it.
So I'm going to finish off by saying propane. If you're using propane, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. Use it properly. Don't abuse it and stuff like that. If you're camping and you're using campfires and stuff like that, be safe about it. Make sure you have a perimeter set up for your campfire correctly. Don't just throw a fire out in the middle of the woods. This is all our planet, and we want to make sure it's safe and protected. We don't want fires. You see the fire department plates on there. We're going to be bitching.
Don't just cover it up with dirt, and expect it to go out either. Please soak it down.
Soak it down. Make sure it's thoroughly out.
You don't want forest fires. We have driven through so many parts that have had forest fires in the past years, and it's devastating to look at sometimes. There's a fire just west of us.
Yeah, it's right on Highway 70. There's a fire.
Small brush fire.
Before you get to Las Cruces, across from White Sands, New
But
Mexico.
it's almost eaten up almost 100 acres, I think, if not more. I haven't checked today what it was.
Yeah, I'll have to check. It's
but
quite a few.
But the fires here in New Mexico, the fires in California, Montana, Colorado, all over. Texas. Make sure you soak down.
Other than that, the van life itself is actually quite an experience.
I think it's great.
She thinks it's great. I'm a little on the iffy side. I'm still 50-50. I'm pretty much liking it. I can't stand the fact that I've not got my comforts of home and stuff like that. But, that's just something I'm going to have to deal with, right?
Will we cover it all?
No. Nowhere near it.
I don't know if we ever will, but that's a start.
That's right. Guys, this is to kind of give you just a few little ideas on how to say it, a little lead way into our lives as we do this van life. And we've been in the van now for over 60 days, for 2 months. And so far, it's okay. We're not suffering, but we're not tickled pink. However, I still recommend it to anybody, just for the simple fact that if you have the funds and you've put the equipment together that you need, that you're going to need personally. You might not need all this extra stuff. You might need a cot, a dog, and a change of clothes. Hey,
go for it.
She's all for that.
Oh yeah.
Camping out under the stars, whatever. I'm like, dude, if I don't have a solar panel system charging my freaking computer over the top of me so I can look around to see the stars, I'm not a happy camper. I'm not that bad. I'm just kidding. Anyway, guys, we appreciate y'all watching and hanging out with us. I hope this has been somewhat informational. Informative. Yeah. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this has helped y'all make decisions on what you're trying to do. And we'll try to keep up with this every other month or every 2 to 4 months. Like on month 4, we'll do another one and kind of give you a heads up how we feel then. So,
exactly.
So much stuff we could come up with for hours.
Are we good?
We're good. Guys, thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all on the next episode.